and they ceased, and there was a calm. And he said unto them, Where is your faith? And they, being afraid, wondered, saying one to another, What manner of man is this? For he commandeth even the winds and the water, and they obey him. So, we're going to go on through Luke 8 here and into chapter 9. But the first portion here, what we see is the storm. Okay, the storm. The disciples here, you hear them call out to Jesus, wake up. We're going to drown. We're going to perish. Don't you care? Oftentimes we feel like we're drowning in a situation. The situations of our lives overwhelm us at times. And that brings that feeling on. And we feel like God's far away from us. But that's not true. God's never far away. If you're a child of God's, if you are a Christian, Jesus Christ lives inside you. He's never far away. We might drift away with our mind and slip away from Him, but He's never far away. He's always right there with us. They say, the disciples are saying, it's like Jesus is unaware of the situation that they're in. He's unaware that the wind's picked up, that the waves are crashing. He's unaware that the boat's filling up with water. But He's not unaware. He knew that was going to happen beforehand. So we see Jesus woke up, and immediately He rebukes the wind and the waves. And there's a calm. But as soon as He does that, as soon as that's passed and the calm comes, Jesus looks to His disciples and He says, Where's your faith? What, you can't trust me? See, Jesus had already purposed and told them that we're going to go to the other side. He had already said it. They'd already seen miracles worked. And for them to wake Him out of fear, He says, Where's your faith? Do you not trust me to do what I say we're going to do? What I say I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the other side. You're with me, therefore you're going with me, right? See, when Jesus is in you, there's always hope. Jesus is in the boat with me, the boat I call life. He's in it with me. Yeah, there's times when I feel like He's nowhere around, but He is right there with me. It's me that has drifted from Him. I relate more with this first portion here because of it being a boat and the water and all of that stuff. Probably a little better than some would. Even better than him because he has not got the memory of everything that went on like I do when that boat sank. Was I afraid? You ain't kidding, I was afraid. Was I afraid I might die? Yeah. There's always that thought. Hey, we're in the middle of an ocean. Nobody knows where we're at exactly. Our boat sank, and we're swimming around in a big body of water with a whole lot of sharks and a whole lot of other fish, many of which can eat a man. It doesn't have to be a shark, a big grouper. It could eat a man with no problem. But the Lord knew before that boat ever sank that it was going to sink. The Lord knew that I would be standing here tonight. I didn't know that. I was afraid. Not just for myself, but for my son. for my dad, for my brother, his son, brother-in-law, his son. I was afraid. Take an idiot to not be afraid when you're in an ocean. And then as you're swimming and you continue to swim on throughout the day, you never see anybody that's going to help you. Then night comes, you're still swimming. Yeah, it's hard. Sometimes the faith starts to dwindle a little bit. You start to question, well, are they going to find us? Are we going to be saved? But Jesus already knew the outcome. I've got a gnat that is flying around my face that will not leave me alone, so excuse me. If you see me swatting, that's what I'm swatting at. It's a gnat. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Anyway, as we continue, you see faith from my perspective, it did start to dwindle a little. I'm not going to lie about it. As nightfall came and didn't see anything, didn't hear anybody, But then, as the night progressed, about midnight, we seen a helicopter come out flying out of Mount Pleasant, Charleston, searching. We knew they were searching because they come out and they flew like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, slowly getting closer to us. And we watched this all night. And of course, as you see something like this and you're in a situation where you're needing to be rescued, you see this source of rescue getting closer and closer and closer as the night draws on. Then, the source of rescue, from your perspective, looks like it goes directly over you. But it continues. It doesn't stop. It continues on. And for just that long, you think, if they didn't see us now, they're not going to see us. But the Lord had a plan. I didn't know His plan. The pilot didn't know His plan. The co-pilot didn't know His plan. The flight mechanic didn't know his plan. But the flight mechanic was looking out the back window, the porthole window on this helicopter, using what little bit of light from the moon there was, which it was a very little bit because it was a tiny, tiny crescent moon. But he was using that light with his night vision goggles. And he spotted something. He radios and says, "Hey, Captain, I've seen a debris field or a flock of pelicans." And immediately the pilot turns the chopper around and goes all the way back out to that starting point on that last pass. And he flies back the same path again. This time he's looking intently because the mechanic has said, "I seen something. I don't know what, but I seen something." So he's more alert, more aware. He's using the light more. This time the light hits us and it doesn't leave. Even when I thought they might not find us now, even in that moment, there was still enough faith that the Lord was going to save us somehow, some way. And that's exactly what he did. It just takes a little bit of faith. According to Jesus, all we need is faith the size of a grain of mustard seed. And mustard seed's really small, I know, because we bought some yesterday at the store. And there's thousands of them in a little bitty jar. Little bitty jar. One grain is all it takes. He is Lord in the situations that we find hopeless. He is Lord to these disciples here when they think they're about to perish. Yeah, he rebukes them, but he's still their Lord. And he still saves them. So that's the first one we see. That's the first hopeless situation that we're going to see. Next, I want you to notice that there's a madman. This man is crazy. This man is possessed. Okay? Think about this man that's possessed, and also think about our community, our country, the world we live in. Think about those as I read these next verses to you. In Luke chapter 8, verses 26 through 39. And they arrived at the country of the Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. And when he went forth to land, there met him out of the city a certain man, which had devils long time, and wear no clothes, neither abode in any house, but in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God Most High? I beseech thee, torment me not. For he commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For oftentimes it had caught him, and he was kept bound with chains and in fetters. And he brake the bands and was driven of the devil into the wilderness. And Jesus asked him, saying, What is thy name? And he said, Legion, because many devils were entered into him. Legion. And they besought him that he would not command them to go out into the deep. And there was there an herd of many swine feeding on the mountain. And they besought him that he would suffer them to enter into them. And he suffered them. Then went the devils out of the man and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the lake and were choked. When they that fed them saw what was done, they fled and went and told it in the city and in the country. Then they went out to see what was done, and came to Jesus, and found the man, out of whom the devils were departed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. They also which saw it told them by what means he that was possessed of the devils was healed. Then the whole multitude of the country of the Gadarenes round about besought him to depart from them, for they were taken with great fear. And he went up into the ship and returned back again. Now the man out of whom the devils were departed besought him that he might be with him. But Jesus sent him away, saying, Return to thine own house, and show how great things God hath done unto thee. And he went his way, and published throughout the whole city how great things Jesus had done unto him. So we see this madman. Who cares? Who cares? He's crazy. Who cares? He's on drugs.